College basketball takes no days off, and that continues on this Monday. A monumental matchup in the Big 12 that very likely could decide the Big 12 regular season title race tonight in Lubbock. It's Texas Tech and Houston. Should be around a top 10, top 15 tilt by the time the new AP poll is released. The Red Raiders did lose last week on the road in Fort Worth against TCU, but did respond over the weekend with a double-digit win over, why am I blanking on the team? They beat West Virginia over the weekend. Thank you very much. Houston at home, knocking off Iowa State. The Cougs have won 6 in a row. They have a 3-game lead atop the Big 12. And a line tonight, DRS, that is a near pick'em. Minus 118, ever so slightly in favor of Houston. 1.5 in the spread. Total now at 131.5. Should be a great and competitive matchup tonight in Lubbock. Who comes out the victor?
Yeah, you see that spread right away and say, ooh, maybe that's that slight advantage already that you take a look at, a team that should be able to win, might be able to battle with Texas Tech. Let me just take that as a home team. Having said that, there are some intricacies here that you look at Texas Tech that they should be able to exploit for Houston's defense. Say, wait a second. Houston's got the best defense in the country, arguably, and also you can say just if you're looking conference on conference play, the best offense and the best defense. Where do I sign up for that? Now, we talked about a similar scenario a couple days ago, Michigan State and Michigan. Hey, Donnie, why don't you just take the top offense and the top defense in a game that's roughly a pick-em and just see where the chips fall? You might be right on that, but also understand this. You take a look at a Texas Tech team that loves the three-point shot, top 4 in conference play at making them at 37%, but also top 5 in conference play at launching from three-point range, going up against a Houston defense that there's 16 teams in conference play. There's 16th that allow you to shoot the three-point shot, so that should be an advantage. However, sometimes you have to look at the team and the players that they're playing against. Texas Tech, as I said, loves the 3. You take a look at Chance McMillan, leads the team at 45% from three-point range. Missed the game over the weekend, was in a walking boot, probably not playing tonight. So if I want to exploit the three-point line, I'm probably going to need my best, arguably, three-point shooter to be out there. And if he's not, I still look as Houston probably being the better team. If we did get a healthy McMillan in the lineup tonight, I probably will be looking more towards saying, you know what? Home court advantage, Texas Tech. They should be able to rain from three-point range. I don't know if they can do that. Therefore, I don't know if I can take Texas Tech tonight.
I am trying to figure out the clinching scenario for Houston, who is 15-1 in the Big 12. There are 2 teams behind them, including Texas Tech and Arizona, both at 12-4. But Houston has already beaten Arizona. Houston plays Texas Tech tonight. If the Cougs win on the road, I think that does it for the Big 12 regular season crown, which would be something for these Houston Cougars because DRS, they would run roughshod through the American. And then last year, the elevation in Big 12 expansion, joining what was at the time the best league in all of college basketball. Would they be able to carry over that impressive form into Big 12 play? Won the regular season crown last year, might be a win away tonight from winning the regular season crown in the Big 12. Houston minus 210 right now to be a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. I think it would be very difficult to keep this Houston team a Big 12 regular season champ if they continue to win games down the stretch and into the conference tournament off that one line come Selection Sunday, fewer than 3 weeks away. Huge matchup tonight in Lubbock. Again, Houston playing at a very efficient level on both sides. 3rd most efficient defense, 7th most efficient offense, but the 3rd slowest tempo in all of college basketball. So they have to be efficient in their half-court sets. We have seen that be the case for Kelvin Sampson and company. Awesome game tonight in Lubbock, Texas. Another big game in the Big Ten. Michigan at home on Friday, beat by 13 points as a 3.5-point home favorite against Michigan State. The Wolverines now looking up at their bitter foes in the Big Ten standings. Michigan on the road on this Monday against the Nebraska team that largely had the weekend off and is getting ready for this matchup. Inside Pinnacle Bank Arena, a 1.5 in favor of the Huskers, a slight home favorite as the unranked team against the ranked foe. It is a very strong trend to back. Will it continue tonight in Lincoln in favor of Nebraska?
I think it might, because sometimes you take a look at Michigan and what they want to do, and sometimes that means how well do you do at home versus when you're on the road. Again, Nebraska waiting on this game for Michigan. You look at Michigan. bringing their offense on the road. The team that turns the basketball over more in Big Ten conference play, nobody does it more than Michigan. That's never a good sign on the road. Also, Michigan loves to get to the free throw line. Number 2 in conference play at getting there. You know who's number 1 at not fouling? It's Nebraska. So that takes away maybe one of those advantages here. And here's where you're going to play out where sometimes you have to extrapolate, Ben. Look at the three-point shot for Michigan. They're 11th in conference play at making it at about 33% as a team, but they are a top 5 team at shooting the three-point shot. Here's where it's important. Nebraska's not a great defensive team from the three-point line. 14th in conference play at allowing you to make the three-point shot at roughly 37% of the time. But how about this? 17th out of 18th at letting you shoot the three-point shot here. So this game comes down to one thing for me. If Michigan is underwhelming from the three-point line, which means 25 to 30%. I'm not talking about 2 for 40 from three-point line, right? Just a little bit underwhelming. This is a Nebraska night. That's something to watch on that three-point line. So if I were betting this game, which I don't know if I will in the end, I probably do lean towards Nebraska. As long as Michigan doesn't shoot, let's just say 38% above from the three-point line, I don't see them beating Nebraska in Nebraska tonight, Ben.
The Wolverines a half game behind Michigan State for that Big Ten title race. The odds are out, by the way, for the Big Ten regular season crown at this moment in Michigan State because of the huge road win on Friday has flipped to the odds-on favorite at minus 130. Those two teams will see each other to end out the regular season. Maryland might have something to say. The Terps take on MSU. I believe that game is tomorrow in College Park. Nebraska should get the help back, DRS, of Berka Bayuntangel, the transfer from UCLA. In the front court, has been injured the last few days with an ankle injury. Can't provide some stability and depth, of course, for Fred Hoiberg and the Huskers. Big game for Nebraska, flirting with the tournament bubble. On the right side of the bubble right now, but a quad one home opportunity against the Maize and Blue. That one cannot be overlooked. DRS, have a great time on the money line, my friend.
Yep.
We shall talk tomorrow. What's for lunch today?
I don't know. Maybe a Chipotle day. Had a lot of pizza, had a lot of donuts and all that stuff over the weekend. So sometimes I like to reset with a little Chipotle, get some of that chicken, some rice, some avocado, and get after it this week. So we're ready.
Lean, mean, fight machine. That's DRS. For college basketball news up next. Live right here on the early line on SportsGrid. We round out this Monday with some college basketball news and highlighting the slate once again around the nation. Should be a top 10 at bare minimum, top 15 tilt between Houston and Texas Tech tonight in Lubbock. With a Cougs victory, could clinch the Big 12 regular season crown. Still trying to update those clinching scenarios, but Houston an ever so slight road favorite in Lubbock. Michigan now flipped to a slight favorite in Lincoln, Nebraska, taking on the Cornhuskers, who have had a few days off to rest and get healthy and return home. Inside PBA, a very difficult place to win. Michigan faltering at home on Friday night against their bitter in-state foes in Michigan State. The Wolverines now fall out of the number 1 spot in the Big Ten title race. MSU has a half-game lead. Michigan trying to keep pace. Around the country tonight, let's look at some other games. Kansas, will they be ranked by the time we get to action tonight after getting blown out in Provo, but bouncing back with a blowout victory of their own at home against Oklahoma State over the weekend? They head out to Boulder to take on a Colorado team that has really struggled this year. The Buffs, a 6.5-point home underdog. Kansas out of the rankings, I think, would snap one of the longest streaks of being inside the AP top 25. I'll try to find the numbers and make sure we bring them to you tomorrow. But that would be insane. They got beat bad by BYU with a home victory against a bad Oklahoma State team, or just a large Big 12 victory. I think the game was in Lawrence, but again, double check on that. Would that keep Kansas inside the AP poll? We shall see. North Carolina trying to get into the NCAA tournament field. As of the latest bracketology update from Joe Lunardi, which was before the weekend, UNC was one of the first 4 teams out of the NCAA tournament field of 68 on the wrong side of the bubble. But over the weekend, big victory for UNC against Virginia. Now, Virginia's not a great basketball team this year, but still winning by 15 at home. UNC just a 2.5-point favorite. On the road tonight in Tallahassee against an FSU team in turmoil, 7-9 in conference play, just 16-11 this year. Of course, we got the news a few weeks ago that Leonard Hamilton, longtime head coach in Tallahassee for the Noles, would be stepping aside at the end of this year. Florida State has dropped 2 of its last 3, but did cover over the weekend against Louisville, only losing by 9, getting 13.5 points on the road inside the Yum Center. UNC needs this, but it's just a 2.5-point spread. We shall see. Elsewhere around the country, McNeese trying to keep pace in the Southland. 15.5-point favorite against UT RGV. That would be Rio Grande Valley. 15.5-point spread in favor of the Stangs. How about this matchup? 3-24, Mississippi Valley State, ranked 364 of 364 in KenPom. A road game tonight against Prairie View A&M, team number 355 in KenPom, who was just 4-23 straight up this year. And yet Prairie View A&M is a 17.5-point home favorite. As we shared over the weekend, Mississippi Valley State, not a great team against Texas Southern, who always does great things in the SWAC. Did not score many points, did not break the 40-point benchmark. But if Mississippi Valley State, the Delta Devils, struggle on the court, their social media presence on Twitter, elite. One of the best accounts in the country that understands the idea of self-deprecation. Couple of big women's basketball games tonight as well. Keep an eye on Texas, who could be the number 1 team in the nation when that AP poll comes out later this afternoon, as Notre Dame was beat yesterday in double overtime by NC State. Texas, a wagon. I bet them a few weeks ago to win the national championship. Still believe in that price. I also have a bet on UCLA that responded late yesterday inside Carver Hawkeye on the road against Iowa, edging out the Hawks by just 2 points, 67-65. USC, big win against Illinois by double digits. That was a top 25 game. LSU knocked off Kentucky, 65-58 on the road inside Rupp Arena. South Carolina back in action. Top 20 tilt in the Big 12. TCU and Haley Van Lith, 21-point win over West Virginia. Top 20 tilt tonight in the Big 12. Kansas State at home taking on Baylor. A lot of great action on this Monday night as we near the end of regular season matchups at the high major level in both men's and women's college basketball and conference tournaments on the horizon. Saturday is the month of March, so know that. We'll talk to you tomorrow on a Tuesday, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. We're on the grid.